Okay, today I am going to discuss the topic of a personality that a lot of people are starting to learn about. And I'm going to say up front, here's my disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any professional training, but I have been reading and researching this for a couple of years. I've had a reason to start looking into this. And the personality type I am talking about would be a narcissist. Or it'd be along the lines of, or someone who's antisocial, or something called a cluster B. It's basically, it's a personality that is a bit, well, it ranges from being slightly negative to extremely negative. And extremely negative would be along the lines of being a sociopath or a psychopath. But anyhow, most people will attribute, the ones who read the scriptures will attribute that to being a Jezebel spirit. And yes, I do agree with that. And I will get to that if the Lord allows me to get that far in my reading of the scriptures. I'm posting this online for for me to explain. But my opinion is that the first one, granted, the very first one would have to be Lucifer, because Lucifer wanted what God had. He decided he wanted to be God. He was jealousy. But my opinion of the first human narcissistic personality would be Cain. And I'm going to explain it as I read through how I came up with this. Okay, I'm going to start at the beginning. We are reading Genesis chapter 4, and I'm going to read all the way down to verse 16. Afterward, the man knew Eve, his wife, which conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have obtained a man by the Lord. Okay, first off, let me stop at verse 1. There are a whole lot of people who believe that the seed of, or Lucifer, children of Lucifer would come through Cain. But because of the incident in the Garden of Eden when Eve ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Sorry, I probably need a little more coffee. But according to this verse, in my opinion, this says that the man knew Eve. It doesn't say Lucifer knew Eve. It says the man knew Eve. And basically what that meant, knew, he had intimacy with Eve, his wife. Okay, sorry, I'm not, for that little side note. I'm going to keep going. And again she brought forth his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain was a tiller of the ground. So Abel was a shepherd, and Cain was a gardener. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought an oblation unto the Lord of the fruit of the ground. Sometimes I will look over at the notes on the side to see what their opinion of this, of the verses are. And C basically says it was a sacrifice. So Cain brought some vegetables or fruit or whatever. Okay. And Abel also himself brought of the first fruits of his sheep. So that would be the firstborn lambs, and the fat of them. And the king had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had no regard, wherefore Cain was exceedingly wroth, and his countenance fell down. Now, number D says basically that Cain was a hypocrite, and he did things for outwardly appearances, didn't actually mean anything to him. Now, the Most High is going to know this because he knows our thoughts and our motives and all of that. So, returning to verse 6, Then the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance cast down? If thou do well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou dost not well, sin lieth at the door. Also unto thee his desire shall be subject, and thou shalt rule over him. So, thou shalt not be accepted, which means Cain and his sacrifice shall be acceptable unto me, God. If thou shalt do well, you will be accepted. Then Cain spoke to Abel's brother, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel and slew him. Then the Lord God said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? Who answered, I cannot tell. Am I my brother's keeper? So Cain basically says to God, you know, what do you want? What business is it of mine? Is he my responsibility? Again, he, as in God, said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Now therefore thou art cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thine hand. I'll get into this when I come across the verse, but basically your blood is considered your life. Life is in the blood. When thou shalt till the ground, it shall not henceforth the yield. It shall not henceforth the yield unto thee her strength. A vagabond and renegade thou shalt be in the earth. Then Cain says to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast cast me out this day from the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and shall be a vagabond and a renegade in the earth, and whosoever findeth me shall slay me. Then the Lord said unto him, Doubtless whoever slayeth Cain, he shall be punished sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any man finding him should kill him. Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, toward the east side of Eden. Okay, so I'm going to go right back up here to, we're going to look again at verses 9 through 6, basically 9 through 14 at the moment. So, God says Abel's blood is everywhere. It belongs to him. And because of this, when you work, when you're gardening, it's not going to work. You're not going to have a good garden. Things are going to be extremely tough for you. Now, basically, what Cain's response is, my punishment is greater than I can bear. At no point does Cain ever accept responsibility for killing his brother Abel. He never said, I did it. I'm sorry, I was wrong. No. What he said is, oh, woe is me. Look at me. Everything will go against me now. He's not seeing the connection. He doesn't see that things are going to go bad because you've killed your brother. But no, he's like, look at me. Oh, poor me. Woe is me. So, that's like the number one sign of a narcissist. They take no responsibility for what they do, and then they want you to feel sorry for them. That's a very short explanation of a narcissist. But I found it interesting that when Cain goes out, he goes into the land of Nod. What do you do when you go to sleep? Do you not nod off? Kind of interesting.